Hey there. Well, I wanted to share with you guys how I made this striped awning that goes on the top of my booth display. I thought that it would be fun to share with you how I did it, and also I'm going to give you a tour of my booth at the Farm Chick. So stay tuned for some ideas and some inspiration. Welcome to Soul Station. I used a drop cloth for the fabric, and so you'll need a drop cloth and you'll need a measuring tape, a fabric pen, and a scissors. And then what I used to create the scalloped shape on the ends is a yogurt container, an empty yogurt container. And I put tape in the middle so that I had it centered and had exactly half of a scallop. And I traced that starting at the end and working my way to the other end. After I had all of my scalloped edge line traced out, then I got my scissors and I cut out all of that edge. Once I had it all cut out, I brought it outside and laid it out on top of a tarp. And this is because we're going to be using paint for the stripes. And so the next step is to tape off your stripes. My stripes are based on the measurements of my scallop, and that would be from that yogurt container that I used, which was about 4.5 inches from scallop edge to scalloped edge. And so I'm marking that off all the way on both sides of each scalloped edge there. And then I drew the line all the way down with my straight edge here, and then I applied the tape. When laying your tape, you just want to make sure that you don't have any puckers in your fabric. Once I had all of my lines taped off, I was ready to start painting. And to paint the stripes, I used a paintbrush, a mini paint roller, I have a mini paint tray, which I lined with a plastic bag, and then I'm using a mister or a spray bottle with water, and that's a really important step. You have to spray your fabric so that it's really damp. That just helps the paint to go in and dye the fabric rather than sitting on top and getting crunchy. And so I started with this paintbrush, but I could tell really quickly that the paintbrush was going to take me a long time. So I switched to the mini roller, I got it damp, and started painting. I still used the paintbrush to paint along the edges. And one tip I have for that is just to make sure that you are brushing inwards away from the tape and not outwards towards the tape so that you don't get any bleeding in and under the tape. I used my mister bottle liberally and often. Before I continued on painting the rest of my stripes, I wanted to make sure that this was working and that the paint wasn't bleeding. And it was working, it looked okay, so I just continued. Here's my first drop cloth after I had all my stripes painted onto it, and I'm going in for a second coat. So I'm just spraying everything down again with my bottle, and then I also spray my paint and my roller and paintbrush, and I kept that sprayed and covered when I wasn't using it because I had another drop cloth to do. So I just kept it wet and kept the paint on it and just kept rolling with it. When the paint was dry, I removed all of the tape. I will put links in the description box below for most of the items that I used. I wanted to give this a nice finished look, and so I'm using hot glue and macrame rope to trim all of the edges. The hot glue did two things. It attached the macrame, of course, but then it also kept the drop cloth fabric from fraying. I did this on my kitchen counter, so I used a piece of cardboard underneath it and it glued it right down to the cardboard because that was how I pressed in the rope and everything. But it was pretty easy to just peel that up away from the cardboard. When I had applied to do the farm chicks, I wasn't 100% sure that I would get accepted into it. And so when I was really excited. I had heard a lot about the vendors and their displays and how amazing that they all were. And so I really wanted to level up my display. And then at the same time, I started to question whether I was doing the right thing by going to this market. It was the most expensive market that I have ever participated in, and also it was quite a ways away, so it was a drive and cost more money to do that as well. But during this time, I just kept praying about it, and I was getting what felt like little hugs from the Lord. And then my sister told me that she would come and help. So she came out to Montana and then we drove up to Spokane together. Jess came with, of course, too. And while we were there, we toured the Manitou Park, and that was a lot of fun, really beautiful. And they have beautiful gardens. I used snaps to attach the fabric to my frame that was going on top of my walls. And so what I did was just got this snap kit from Amazon, and I'm attaching this to the fabric. And this really worked perfectly. I wanted to make sure that the scalloped edge hung just right in the front, and using snaps held it in place really well. Okay, so this part of the video is not the best quality. I forgot to get my camera out and record this part, but my sister sent me this video that she took. I wanted to include it so that you could see what it looks like before I get the fabric on top. We just used some wood and made a peak, like a gable peak, and applied the snaps to that part, and then we put the fabric on top of it and snapped it on. This was so exciting to be setting this up at the Farm Chicks. I was just grinning from ear to ear because I could not believe how perfectly it came together. It really added so much character to my booth space, and from a distance in the big building, you could really see it. Okay, let's start a little bit of our tour of the Farm Chicks, starting at the entrance. Here's one of those little hugs I was telling you about from God. Well, my dream car is this right here, and only God would have known that, but that just made it extra fun. Many of the vendors' displays were incredible and very inspiring, but I started to realize as I was walking through that I really didn't have anything to be afraid of. You know, sometimes we can suffer with that imposter syndrome, I think that's what they call it, but there's no reason for it. And if God has called you to do something, then just do it. Don't be afraid, just do it, and He can even make your mistakes to prosper. As I'm editing this video, and in light of some current events, it made me realize even more how important it is to step out in faith and to have courage and to not be afraid. It's made me question, how am I living? What am I living for? And why? And like Charlie said, I want to be remembered for my courage of faith. So, what dream do you have in your heart to do? What idea have you been holding yourself back from? Do you have small dreams or some big dreams? I have a little of both, to be honest, and sometimes it can seem overwhelming. Or maybe you are someone who is living your dream, like you had the idea and you went for it. Whatever situation you're in, I would love to hear about it.
has a nice one.
Thank you guys for watching and for liking this video and for subscribing to my channel. I appreciate it so much. I hope that you have enjoyed this tour of the farm chicks and enjoy the tour of my own booth, which I'm going to finish out here. And I want to give a big shout out and thank you to my sister Tara for coming and helping me. She did an amazing job and I couldn't have done it without her.